Hey moms, it's me, Queenie, and you are about to enjoy the Empowering Girl Mom Show. We're about to get started, so please make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with your friends so that more moms know that we are here as a resource to support all of us in up-leveling motherhood. I look forward to joining you in just a minute. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey moms, it's me, Queenie, and you are about to enjoy the Empowering Girl Mom Show. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today for the Empowering Girl Mom Show. I'm your host, Queenie Brown, and today we are talking about how to get your money right. So, listen, the Empowering Girl Mom Show is a month-long transformative experience where we are inviting all women, not just moms, but all women, but specifically girl moms. We're talking about the impact that our mother line has on our lives and how we can rise in every area of our lives. So today in particular, we're talking about how to get our money right. And we are bringing to you the very, very wise and strong, powerful woman, Miss Felicia Be Well Kadima. She is a women's wealth management advocate. She's the founder of True Path Financial Consulting and True Vine Living. And I want to welcome my dear friend and special girlfriend. And we hang out together with our girls. And it's just been a beautiful experience knowing and loving and learning you. And I'm grateful to have you in my life. Felicia Be Well Kadima.
Oh, thank you so much, Queenie, for that introduction. Hello, moms, girl moms. I'm also a girl mom, so I couldn't think of a better place to be here in this community with other girl moms talking about an issue that is so important for us as moms and something that we could also pass on to our girls, which is financial literacy and financial empowerment, encouraging them. So, Queenie, I'm excited
Me
about
too.
this topic. I'm just excited to be a resource for these moms and give them some information that could put them on a path to transform their financial picture or start a new journey. And then also leaving a legacy for our daughters. So I'm excited.
Me too. Me too. And so, I wanted to start this off and just talk about traditionally, it's always been where a woman leaned on a man in order to make the boat float, right? In order for everything to roll the way that we wanted to roll. Oftentimes we had to have that male income, but times have changed and we don't necessarily have the ability to lean on that as much as we have in the past. So women have to be more focused on getting their own bag, managing that bag, and growing that bag. And so I wanted you to talk to us about what that looks like from the perspective of not only being a mom, but also being a boss. What does it look
Mm,
like to really be able to handle and manage all of your stuff?
right, right. And it's interesting, Queenie, one of the things you mentioned about how historically, so let's kind of go back. Historically, in some communities, not all of them, the husband always worked or the father worked while the mom stayed home, a very important job to take care of the family. While in the 70s and 80s, there was a shift where, well, I think even before that, during World War II, when women started going into the workplace, working and contributing more. And so over the years, not just because culturally things have changed, but also the economy, the way the economy is with rising inflation over the years, two income households became important. And of course, because of the increased materialism in the world, the more stuff we wanted to have, the more financial burdens families incurred, that made it that you needed two incomes in the home.
Hmm.
And then there's also situations where, because of the high increasing rates of divorces and separations, when those situations happen, there's a shift in your income as a mom and the dad as well. But we're talking about moms right here. So there's so many different issues that are going on in the world today. And one of the things that I always tell moms is that We cannot afford to be in a position, number one, where we are financially dependent on someone else. Even if you have an amazing spouse, husband, or partner, it is really important for you to have at least the skill set that if you needed to, I mean, many of us would love to be stay-at-home moms, investing that time pouring into our children, taking care of them, volunteering in our various passions, our ministries, etc. We would love to do that. But you at least want to make sure that you have a skill set that if you needed to, if God forbid something happened to your husband or your partner, you would be able to take that skill set and generate some income. And one of the things that we live in a day where there's so many different opportunities that you can create that even as a stay-at-home mom, you can have a business, within your home. There's so many different ways that you can do that. So it's about being creative. So to answer your question, what does it look like to have your money together? Number one, it is you either being in a position where you have a way to generate your own income that's coming into the household through you, although you're sharing it with the family, you're providing in that sense. It could be either outside the home or it could be operating your own business or something within the home. And if you are not doing that, at least you have the education and a skill set that if you needed to take that to generate income in a short period of time, you have the capacity and the ability to do that. That it doesn't require an extensive retraining, having to go back to school. Yes, there are times where we have to do that, but as much as you can, be prepared so that if you needed to provide financially, you can do that. So that's part one, having a source of income that you are generating or a skill set that you can convert for income. Number two is eliminating debt. There are so many families and moms out there that are working overtime, working excessively because we have put ourselves in a situation where there's so much debt that is a burden on our finances. And so we have to work. So really being intentional and diligent about reducing the amount of debt that you have. So there's that. Third thing is really thinking about having an emergency fund, some sort of liquidity resource that if something happened, you can tap into this fund, whether it's the roof breaks down, whether it's the car, whether it's a legal expense. We live in a very in a society where people will take you to court at the head of the drop. So you want to make sure that you at least have a means that you can access something to be able to get an attorney to represent you. So having a savings, and then look at also having investments, assets that are appreciating assets, not things like our purses. Ladies, I know we love our purses and I know we love our luxury cars. All of those things are nice. But as one of the things that I do when I'm analyzing the financial statements of wealthy individuals, I don't look at their vehicles. I don't look at their miscellaneous items. I look at what assets do they have? What do they have? Investments? Do they have real estate? Do they have maybe equity in a business? So we want to get to a point, ladies, by having appreciating assets like real estate. Even if you have your money in the stock market, that's great, although that goes up and down. But at least you are being very intentional and purposeful about the investments that you have that can generate you income and that can grow over time. So there's that. And then the next thing is also leaving a legacy of financial literacy for your girls, your children in general. Don't leave them a bunch of money and not prepare them on how to handle it. There's been so many situations where hardworking moms and dads left their inheritance to their children, and those children did not have the capacity to really know how to manage that, and that money was gone.
Mm.
So educating, providing financial literacy for our children so that they can know how to manage. It's particularly our girls. So those are basically what it looks like to have your money right.
Hmm.
I know I
Wow.
gave you a lot there.
No, that's good though. I'm glad. And so, moms, make sure you're taking notes for every
Yes.
speaker that we have. The intention here is for us to take in this information, to document it for ourselves, to put a plan in place and start to apply it so that we can start to see some changes by the end of this, by the end of the show. I'm so grateful that you went down this list because, girl, as you were going through it, I'm thinking, okay, so that's the big picture, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
big picture.
Right.
And
Yep.
I know we didn't talk about insurance, but that's another piece that we
Yes.
gotta have right too,
Yep.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
how do we, I remember a lady telling me that she had asked her mom, Mom, why didn't you teach me how to manage or how to balance my checkbook? And the mother replied, When have you ever seen me balancing a checkbook? And so
Right.
sometimes it goes down to the basics, the bare minimums. How do we manage our day-to-day money? What does that look like so that we can like what you've listed already, those are things that we could work towards. But
Mm.
today, how do I manage what I do have?
Right. Great question. In terms of managing the day to day, I would start with at the end of the month, like right now it's May 5th, you and I need to go print off our bank statements and review all the money that came in and all the transactions that went out. Let's grade ourselves in terms of how did we do financially? Where did all the money go? So that's one of the ways. You want to start looking at your bank statement every month to kind of get a sense of where your money is going, what money is coming in. The second thing is that you want to have financial goals. That you want to break it down to you want to break it down maybe for the year. What is your goal for that year? And then breaking down into quarters and months. So for the month of May, what is it that you want to accomplish financially? And the reason why you want to have goals is because that's going to drive the day to day, week by week decisions that you make about your finances.
Mm-hmm.
So having goals, tracking and watching your accounts at least on a monthly basis to see what's going in and out. And then our favorite thing, having a spending plan, also known as the budget, but we like to use spending plan or a cash flow tracker.
Mm.
And what I would say is do it month by month. Like right now, we're at the beginning of May. Look at, okay, what money is coming in? What are my goals? And then you're going to structure your, yes, what you're going to spend based on that. So let's say the goal is this month we want to have $500 in our savings. We're going to go through we're going to go on a spreadsheet and write down what money is coming in, what expenses are coming out, and look at where can you make some adjustments. Maybe, ladies, we're not going to do the lashes this month. Maybe we're going to do the strip. Maybe we're not going to go to the spa. Maybe we're going to, make some adjustments so that we can make sure that we're able to meet that goal. It may not even be 500, maybe just $100. So really having goals in terms of what you want to achieve on a month to month, and that ties to your goal for the whole year. So that's that. And because you need to have a goal, because the goal is going to influence the decisions that you are making throughout the month every day. Do you really need to go to Starbucks every day?
Right.
By you having a spending plan, and one of the things I would say, start gradually. Don't go to the extreme where you start missing out on the things that you enjoy that bring you joy. Maybe you're just going to do Starbucks, like I'm just going to speak for myself, one day this week versus 3 or 4 days. So that's kind of how we want to start on a day-to-day basis. So again, having a goal of what you want to accomplish financially. The goal could be paying off a certain credit card. Then you're going to, in your spending plan, you're going to break out, how do I do that? And that's one of the things, the freebies that I give is a spreadsheet that helps you put together your spending plan. I call it a cash flow tracker.
I love that.
And I love it because I break it down by weeks. Because a lot of times people get paid twice a week or once a month. So the way this spreadsheet is set up is by week, and there's a column where you can put all of your expenses and the due date. And then you're going to put when your paycheck comes, depending on what week, when you're paying it. So it's a really great tool, a working tool that you can be looking at least once a week to track your finances.
Mm.
So that's a great freebie that I'm willing to give the
I
audience.
love that. I love that. So I'm going to make sure that there's a link in the comments or a link somewhere for you guys to get that. And if you haven't already registered for the Empowering Girl Mom Show, make sure you do, because I'll send the link out as well so that everyone who's watching gets a copy of that, because we all could use it. Thank you for your generosity with that. So you said something at the very beginning. You said, look at your print and look at your bank statements. And I want to know if there's any of you who, when she said that, you felt something come up in your spirit or jump up on your back. Because I know that when money is tight for me, looking at the money is like, that's a stressor. It's like it's not where it needs to be. So it's one of those things where we can tend to avoid it. And so if you're avoiding looking at the money, put it in the comments. Let us know. Um,
Mhm.
what do you say to a woman who is challenged in that way, and so she's got her head in the sand? What do you say to her?
That's a great question. And I'm so glad you raised that, the fact that there are certain things that can trigger us about
Mm-hmm.
our finances.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I want us to understand is that we have the power. Is money your master or your servant? In scripture, it says this: the love of money is the root of all evil. And I believe it also says something about you can't serve two masters. A lot of times, money is mastering us either in a good way or a bad way.
Hmm.
It is mastering us in a bad way, that we're intimidated by it. We have a sense of hopelessness about it. We try to stay away from it. We believe that if I can just pretend like it's not there, it's all going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
No, money is your servant. You're the master. So by you taking an opportunity to pull up that statement and taking a look at it, you're taking power by doing that. And I
Mm.
love that because I remember a couple years ago, I met with a financial coach. That's the one thing, ladies, you always want to have somebody coaching you. It's so important to have an objective person to help you through this process, particularly as it relates to money. And Queenie will drop my link on there for anyone that is interested. I do provide personalized financial coaching. I met with the financial coach and she asked me to put together my personal financial statement. And I was really intimidated by it. Like, oh my goodness, I'm about to put all my assets, all my debt. And in my mind, I had this tape playing that it's not going to be good. I'm probably going to have a negative net worth, all of that. But I went ahead and did it. And I was actually pleasantly surprised. I was in a better shape financially than I really thought I was.
Mm.
To your point, Queenie, here I am. I'm walking around here with this idea, with these stories in my mind that financially I'm not well. I'm feeling anxiety. I'm feeling a sense of insecurity, not being confident. But when I took the opportunity to put this financial statement together, which is another tool that I will give available for the audience, there'll be a little fee
Thank
for
you.
that, but that's going to be a nominal one. But this is a powerful tool for you to kind of put where you're at financially. You're going to put all your assets, all of your debts, and it's going to give you a net worth. And it's important to do that. And once I did that, Queenie, I felt empowered
Mm.
because I knew what my financial picture looked like. And then one of the wonderful things that I also did was I went ahead and I did a forecasting when I said, this is what it looks like, but this is what I want it to look like in 5 years.
Mm.
So that's one of the things that I do when I work with women is we do a personal financial statement to look at where you are. And then we do a forecast one to see where you want to be in a year, 2 years, etc. So that you can have that power. So ladies, go ahead, open that bank statement, face it, face the fear and do it anyway. It's something that a
Mhm.
mentor of mine told me years ago. Face it, you are the master because once you know what's going on, once you know where the money is all bleeding out, once you know that maybe you don't have enough of it, then you can implement the solutions to be able to resolve it. That's
Mm.
where you get the power. So I want to encourage you today, after this, sometime today, go into your bank account, print off that statement. Today's the 6th, so all the banks have sent out the statements. Go ahead, print off that statement and take a look at it. And I'm excited for you because once you get that statement, it's going to give you an opportunity for you. You're the driver, you're the one that's in control and in charge, not the money.
I love that. I love that. I love that because we
Mhm.
we we really do have dominion and we don't realize that. And sometimes we'll get in our heads and we just imagine the worst and we see things playing out in a way that we don't want it to. But the truth
Mhm.
is that when you face it, it's never as bad as you think. Or even if it is as
Right.
bad as you think or worse than you thought, then at least you can put a plan together to get yourself out
Right.
of it.
Exactly. That's the
Mhm.
key. That's the key because it gives you, it helps you see what the problem is. And once you find the problem, the solution, there's a solution to every problem.
Right.
That's a beautiful thing. There is a solution to every problem.
Mhm. And then when you think about this in terms of what you're modeling for your girls, if you're hiding and you got your head in the sand around money, then they're going to do the same thing. And it's passing down a disempowerment, a skill
Mhm.
set to cower in the face of
Right,
things rather than to
right,
take it head on and know who you are and know that God is in you and is operating through you. And He promised that He would teach you how to prosper and He would lead you in the path that you should go and that He would open doors that no man can shut. We've got to remember the promises. And when we stand in
exactly,
it that way, it gives our daughters permission to stand in it that way, and then it gives them the example. Okay, I'm looking at it. It may not look how I need it to look, but then I've got my goals up, and now they're watching you work towards your goals, and they're seeing you track it, and they're seeing you check it off, and they're seeing you accomplish it. And so it's providing them not only with the example, but it's providing them with the belief in themselves that they can do it, just like Mama
they
did
can
it.
do it. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you raised up that point and there's a couple of points that I want to make and I want to just jot down. One of them, I want to tell my story because I don't want to give the impression that I've always had it together here, Queenie. I've experienced so many financial challenges that a lot of people there, I can't think of anything that with the exception of filing bankruptcy, I've been there. I've had lots of credit card debt. I've had to deal with low credit score. I've had to deal with living paycheck to paycheck, where you get paid on Friday, you're broke by Monday. I've been seeing Dave Ramsey use this, and it's just been cracking me up. I'm like, that is so true. Living paycheck to paycheck. I've had immense, lots of money, only to have it all gone within a few months. So I understand the pains and I can speak to it. It's one thing to talk with someone that's always had it all together. They've always been great with money, but I can speak to the pain points of what many women experience where you're overspending to buy love, or if you're a people pleaser. Y'all, I have a whole list of the money traumas. I mean, I've experienced money traumas. There's so many things that affects our relationship with money. So I want to let you know that I have not always had it together. It is a work in process. One of the things that I really had to get delivered from was being a people pleaser and thinking that by me giving money to family or etc., that was a way they're going to say, oh, well, she's an amazing person. She's worthy. She's because she's giving this to me. Oh, she's great. I was buying validation when I was doing all of that. And when I recognized that, it totally shifted my financial perspective because I started saying no. Because some of us deal with survivor's remorse or survivor's guilt, where you may be the boss chick, the mom that has done really well financially, but because of that, you feel like you have to help everyone else around you.
Mhm.
Or on the flip side is the overspending woman. I've been there. Again, if I just have the name brand bag, if I carry the latest bag or shoe or vehicle, that means that I'm important. That validates me. So I've been there. So I could
Mhm.
totally speak to all of that, but I want to let you know that one of the things that I do when I work with women is let's kind of get to the root of your spending habits and your patterns so that you can break them. It's not until you address the beliefs around money and the things that shape how you make decisions, that's how you're going to be able to transform your solutions. So I wanted to make sure I shared that story that I haven't always had it all. Praise God that when I started to do my work, my healing work,
Mhm.
for divorce and other things that I've had to do in my life, that's when I started to uncover, whoa, many of these things are impacting me also financially.
Mm.
That's why it's important the work that you're doing, Queenie, and many of your other guests that are here. So I encourage moms to do that. Now, about the girls, one of the things that I noticed was that every time I would take my girls to the stores and they said, Mommy, give me this money, I would say, no, 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 no. Then I started to think, what am I teaching them?
Mm.
Every time I'm saying no, 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 no. So I said, okay, I'm going to start giving you guys money. Just not for chores or reward for getting good grades, but just for being a citizen of this household. Y'all are going to get $7 every 2 weeks. When I get paid $7 or $10, sometimes I'll give them a little bit more. And that's your money. And you're going to keep this money. And anytime we're about to go to the store, you're going to bring your money with you. And then that way you can decide how you want to spend your money. Here's the interesting thing that started happening. Because what that does is it gets them used to feeling money, managing their money, and also just having it, giving them that power. So we go to the store and they're like, oh, mommy, I see this, I don't know, the latest LOL doll or kitty, whatever the latest toy is. Mommy, can I have this? I said, oh, you have your own money. Sure, go ahead. And my youngest daughter goes, oh, but how much is that? How much do I have? And it was interesting. Even though she had it, she did not want to spend her money on that item. It was really interesting because what it does is that it makes them start to think about making choices about how they're going to spend their money. It
Mhm.
makes them get used to having the money and managing it. So I highly encourage girl moms to give even if it's $5, give them money, have them a person when you're all about to go somewhere, they have their own money and that way you're not telling them no, 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 no. That
Mhm.
way they have the power to make the choice of whether or not to spend their money. And you'll be amazed at how they're doing it. One of the things that I see is that one of my daughters is very good at saving. Right now, she's got a goal of buying herself some pink Converse shoes, pink Converses. So that's what she's going to be saving her money for. So you see, it's instilling financial
Yeah.
literacy at that age. They want to start a business this summer selling a lemonade. My sister has a lemonade distribution business. They actually create this amazing lemonade. So they want to be distributors for that this summer. So we're going to sit down. We're going to create a business plan. They're going to need some capital. So I'm going to give them some capital. I'm going to give them a loan and they're going to have to pay me back. So we're going to
Oh, I
really get
love
them in
that.
business and get them practice. So yes, moms, let's get the girls practicing managing that money as early as possible.
I love that. I love that. And what you're doing is you're breaking the generational patterns of poverty.
Right.
And that's a
Mm-hmm.
mindset, right? Because we don't realize that
Right.
we're operating from that just by virtue of being in this culture, you know? And when
Exactly.
you employ and you start to do those types of things, it changes their perspective and it stops whatever patterns were brewing through your
Right.
mother line from moving any
Mm-hmm.
further. So I love that.
Right.
Um,
Because if you think about it, Queenie, a lot of us, we spent probably the first 15 or 16 years of our lives, that is, if we do get a job, not managing money.
right.
And then you get a job and and then there's no financial literacy. And
Hmm.
then some people they don't really start handling money until they graduate, until they're in college. And
Hmm.
in college, they're giving you all these credit cards.
Girl, that
So
part.
we're sending our children to without any financial literacy. That's why I highly encourage any financial literacy programs. You definitely want to get your children involved with that. Empower them as early as they're a baby.
I love that. I love that. And I love the idea of creating kidpreneurs because it
Yes.
creates a whole new level of confidence for them. My daughters also have a little business of theirs. They have what's called the Love Scrub. They wanted to create their sugar scrub, and it's a love scrub for girls. And girl, when they package those little scrubs and they're selling them, one of them is talking and telling them how to use it, and then it's only $5. You know, they're happy
Uh-huh.
to ask for the money, and then they're like counting it up, and it makes
Uh-huh.
them, it empowers them, it gives them strength
Yes.
in their ability to believe that they can create something out of nothing, and that is
Right.
so important. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. I'm so grateful that we're having this conversation. Moms,
Yes.
if you guys are being blessed by this, put it in the comments. Let us know if you have any questions for Felicia. What we're going to be doing at the end of the month is we're going to be doing a roundtable with the speakers. So for those speakers who have questions from our guests, I mean, from our audience, we're going to invite you back so that you can live in real time answer the questions. So that'll be fun closer to the end of the month, and I'll get you more information on that, Miss Felicia. But but yeah, so if you have any questions for Felicia, please do leave them in the comments. I just want to say thank you so much for sharing this. Ladies, make sure that you follow her instructions. You're going to print out the spending plan sheet that she's going to provide for us in the link. You're going to print out your bank statements. You're going to fill it out. You're going to look at it. You're going to breathe through it if you have to breathe through it. You're going to start doing the things that she suggested so that by the end of this month, we can begin to see some transformation and we can talk about your testimonies. So, Felicia,
Absolutely.
before we go, are there any final parting words that you'd like to share with the audience?
The final parting word is that we're probably going to be sending you guys, I'm going to be doing a financial course coming up pretty soon, probably at the beginning of June, because June is one of those, summertime is one of those, we probably tend to spend a lot more in the summer. So I want to tackle it right at the beginning of summer is a money, mastering your money for the summer course. So for moms and anyone else, participate in that. So you'll be seeing more information about that in the link. Ladies, come join me. It's going to be a live session where we're going to actually go through a plan on how to improve your credit score, on how to increase your savings. And really, I'm going to walk you through how to use the financial cash flow tracker plan that I talked about.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Felicia Kadima. Felicia Be Well Kadima. We appreciate your wisdom and we just thank you for sharing all of this great content with us. Be sure to reach out to Felicia and leave your comments. And we just thank you all for watching today. Again, I'm your host, Queenie Brown. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Empowering Girl Mom Show. Make sure you invite your friends, make sure you like and share. And friends don't let friends miss out. So this is some good stuff. Make sure you all are sharing this far and wide. And we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. God bless you. Take good care. Bye
Right.
bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, moms.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Wow, today's conversation was a bit deep. And honestly, I needed to hear it today myself. So I just wanted to remind you that when we begin our heart healing, when we decide to turn that mirror around and focus on the broken parts inside of us, the parts that have been wounded, the parts that we are holding, maybe some resentment or unforgiveness, or maybe there are parts that you've never even acknowledged, or wounds that you just kind of tucked under the rug. We've talked about that before, right? As moms, many of us don't have time to do heart healing. And honestly, we are the very first generation to even begin to think about healing our hearts, to think about going into therapy or getting coaching or getting support in the areas where we need the support. And the truth is, moms, we get to have support. And so I felt led over the last couple of weeks and months to put together a beautiful program. It's called the Mother Love Immersion. It is a 6-week heart healing online retreat for moms. And it's designed to take us under that rug and just to begin that heart healing process in a safe, loving container where we can together journey through the pain, but not with the intention to stay there. The intent is for us to go there so we can heal from it. I have learned in my own journey that sometimes you got to feel it in order to heal it. And so if you have not allowed yourself to feel the pain of whatever it is that you went through, and you've not allowed yourself to really just go there, it's time, because if you don't, it'll continue to bleed into your relationship with your children. It'll bleed into your relationship with money, with your love relationship. It bleeds into every part of your life. And so we have to decide to begin our heart healing journey. And this mother love immersion is a light introduction. It's not going to be a deep dive, because a lot of us have wounds that have just been there for so long. And the intent, again, is for us to learn how to process through it. And so I want to invite you, if you are ready to begin your heart healing journey, to put "I'm ready" in the comments. And I would love to have a conversation with you to talk to you about the Mother Love Immersion and what it can do for you and how it can transform you. And let this summer be the last summer that you carry the baggage. Let this be the last summer that you go without learning how to walk through your own heart healing process. And let this be the summer that you learn the skills to be able to support your daughter or daughters in healing their own hearts, because they're watching us, moms. They're seeing how we deal with life. They're watching us tuck things under the rug when we've been violated or mistreated or spoken to in a way that was inappropriate, or even on the job. We tend to take things in as women, and we don't know how to push them back out. So let me help you walk through that journey, and we can do it together. Again, put "I'm ready" in the comments, and I will be happy to share with you more about the Mother Love Immersion, which again is a 6-week heart healing online retreat for moms. And it's, of course, not just open to moms, but if you're a woman and you're not a mom yet, you definitely are still welcome. But specifically, I want to target moms, because what we're doing inside of motherhood is a reflection of the pain that we're carrying inside of our own hearts. So we get to heal that. We get to walk through that process, learn a new skill set, and be able to model and share that with our daughters. All right. So if you're ready to begin your own heart healing journey, put "I'm ready" in the comments, and I'll be sure to let you know more about the Mother Love Immersion. Okay. All right. Y'all be blessed. Thank you so very much. Yes, you get to process and learn how to move through your healing. It is the most important lesson and skill set that you can learn, because it's really, when you really think about it, our mother line, the wounds that your grandmother carried, she passed on to your mom, even if she didn't want to. Epigenetically, your mom was in her mother's womb when her mother was dealing with whatever trauma that she went through. And likewise, you were in your mother's womb when your mom was in the womb. Think about that. When we're born, we have all the eggs we'll ever carry. And so oftentimes we are carrying the woundedness from the past generations. So let's be deliberate about making sure that our next generation doesn't get that from us. And if they do, let's learn how to unravel it so that they'll know how to do that for their next generation as well. This is deep heart healing work, ladies, moms, and it's necessary for us to be able to up level and be who we've been called to be. So I'm grateful that you joined us. Thank you so much. Again, go to www.empoweringgirlmoms.com to learn more about this show. Catch all the replays. We're going to be replaying a lot of the interviews this week because they were so impactful. And in case you missed it, we want to give you one last opportunity to catch them. All right. Thank you so much again for joining. I'm Queenie Brown, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. You be blessed and take good care. Bye bye.